AITA for accepting the prize money for winning a game I didn't know I was playing? So I, 21F, went to my granddad's ATM house last week and he handed me a jar full of cash with my name on it. He told me to count it and it came to £3,200. I asked him what it was for and he explained the rules of the game he'd been playing with the whole family. From the 1st of December 2023 to the 31st of December 2023, every time a member of the family visited him, he'd put £100 in their jar for every hour they spent with him. At the end of the month, the person who spent the most time with him would receive all of the money in their jar, and the others would get nothing. He obviously didn't tell anybody that he was doing this so that no one spent extra time with him to get the money. I won his game by £600. So 6 hours more than the person who came second, my uncle. At first I didn't want to accept the money, only because I didn't think it was right to play games with people without them knowing. Especially not your family. But after a while he convinced me to take my prize money because I earned it. When I got home, I told my parents about the money and explained his game to them. I told my mom where she came on the scoreboard, 4th, and she was understandably upset at her father for making us unknowingly compete with each other. Then she told the rest of the family via a group chat. So now pretty much my whole family is mad at my granddad for doing this. But also me for accepting the money. He is an old man and he's not exactly a millionaire. So they think that I should have refused the money and confronted him for what he did. I think that if he was willing to play this game then he obviously has no problem with giving the money away. And he did insist on me taking it. Also, he's always been a weird guy. So although I don't agree with what he did, I'm not too surprised. So I don't think I should have had to start an argument with him about it. Edit. Sorry I didn't make it clear enough. This took place between December 1st and December 31st of last year. So only lasting 1 month. Each person who visited him had a separate jar. So my jar had £3,200 in it because I spent 32 hours with him. Other people had different amounts in their jars. But I only received what was in mine. Another edit. Thank you for all of the responses so far. I've seen a lot of comments about how his game was unfair because some people have more free time. That's completely true. Although in this case, don't assume that just because I'm young, I have more free time. I have a full-time job, a partner, and a small side business to run. I have significantly less free time than most of my family, apart from maybe my uncle, who works slightly more hours than me. The majority of my family work part-time or not at all. And only my aunt has a young kid to attend to. But she doesn't work either. I'm not saying the game was fair, but I think most of my family would not have trouble finding the spare time to spend with him. Some would just rather be doing anything else. /NTA. And if you feel bad about receiving this money, might I suggest you spend it on experiences for you and your granddad to share? NTA. Personally, I think this game just shows which people in the family get along with him better, feel a certain closeness and understanding with your grandpa and thus spend time together. Is it a bit rude to put that into monetary value? A bit. But he's free to do what he wants. Though I suspect now he'll just get many more visits around Xmas and he will not give money again next year. Cold sweat smile. NTA. My grandparents talked about doing something similar. Certain amounts for texts, phone calls, in-person visits, etc. He wants to see his family. It's his money. He can do as he pleases with it. And he showed how much you visiting him meant. Your family is just bitter because it's a large amount. If your uncle, your mom, your aunt, your cousin would have received it, everyone else would be jealous of the person that got it. NTA. Enjoy your time with your grandpa. You didn't know you were being given money to hang out with him. You just visited him because you love him. Don't let your family get you down because you love your grandpa. NTA. From the perspective of a parent of adult kids, I would be proud of my 21-year-old who regularly visited their grandparent. Your mother's reaction was selfish. Your NTA for accepting the money. But I would have kept it to myself. There's a reason why GDAD didn't say anything. Apart from not wanting to buy his family's time. It's just creating unnecessary conflict. NTA. Objectively, your grandfather has decided to give you money. And that's purely between the two of you. This should be the end of the story. Now, if you want to discuss the gamification aspect of it, here's what I think. Your grandfather has noticed things, or he wouldn't have come up with this game. And to reward certain behaviors without encouraging purely greedy attitudes, he rewards them after the fact. Family members being mad at losing this game and showing animosity, if not jealousy, because you did comes very close to an embarrassing self-report. NTA. Go spend some more time with Gramps. Make sure you tell him it's free. He'll be happy, and who knows, it may pay dividends in the ends. NTA. It's his money, he can do whatever he wants with it. If he chose to keep a tally of who spent time with him and then give them the money, that is his business. You will probably not be able to get into his house again with all of your other family members in there all the time, trying to win a jar of money. Relish the time you had with him and continue to see him when you can. Okay, so I think this game is bonkers. If you spent 32 hours, the next most spent 26 hours, and there are several others in the family he's done this with, then he's clearly been visited, often in the space of 30 days. This feels a bit manipulative on your granddad's part, but that's his problem. I would say NTA purely because what else were you gonna do? But people have a right to be mad given that by the look of it everyone is spending time with him. It's incredibly hard to believe that you couldn't predict that telling your mother would backfire in exactly the way it has. I'd almost go with YTA for not just accepting the money and then keeping your mouth shut about it. But then I think your grandfather would probably have told everyone anyway, because it seems clear that punishing the people who don't spend much time with him was his goal. And it doesn't work if they don't know about it. But his design for the whole game is awful because it in effect punishes everyone who visited him. Except for a single person. You are NTA for taking the money he offered you. I'm surprised none of the comments have an issue with Grandpa trying to puppeteer his family. I make an effort to spend time with family, but if they started playing little games with me I would stop visiting because I don't enjoy being manipulated. Also, the family is upset that Op took the money because Grandpa isn't flush, so it doesn't sound like they are all just greedy. December is a particularly hectic month for me work-wise, so now if I visit more in January it's because I'm greedy? I'll pass on all that and just stay home tbh. NTA. It's your grandpa's choice how he handles his money, and somehow knowing which people like to spend time with him. Since the cat is out of the bag, guess he has to come up with a new game this year. NTA. So the reality is your grandfather is probably coming to terms with the fact that his end is nearing and he's going to start giving things away, including money. And this is normal. He can't bring it with him, and this was his fun, sneaky way of finding a recipient. Returning the money would probably upset him because it's his to give, and he probably already feels like people are trying to make decisions for him as he gets older. What I would suggest, set the money aside, in case he needs it, but maybe use the money to take him out for dinner, or to do something he would enjoy, like a day trip somewhere. Continue visiting him as regularly as you do because he obviously really appreciates it. And based on the game he invented, he's probably feeling pretty lonely. Grandpa is TA here. It sounds like he has lots of people visiting him and they spend plenty of time with him. Instead of enjoying that, he decided to turn it into a competition aimed at making all but one person feel guilty. NTA, why shouldn't you accept the prize money? Your family wants to make you their messenger by confronting your grandfather. Don't do that, it's not your duty. For the money, I'm sure your family is simply envious because they didn't get the cash out and would have accepted the money without hesitation. If you want, you can put back a part of the money to help your grandfather out when he needs it. You are NTA. But I'm afraid your grandfather is. The only reason he did this was to create drama and fighting within the family. And while you've gotten money, you're also the focus of this. Just because a relative didn't visit as much doesn't mean they don't care. If someone is from out of town and has a lot of family, it can be really difficult to see all of them. Far less for a huge chunk of time. How much visiting did he do, by the way? I bet he wouldn't appreciate it if the family started keeping score on him. It's not fair that he did this. It's great you've spent a lot of time with him, but the rest of the family isn't awful because they didn't. If anyone has a lot of work, young kids, disabled, there are lots of reasons they can't make as much time as you're able. Doesn't mean they don't care. Family are now angry and upset with him. If he thinks that'll get him more visits, he's sadly mistaken. You can keep the money. It was his to give, but be careful of these twisted games in the future. Sorry you're dealing with this. Did he weigh free time available for each person and put that into consideration? I would be hurt if I work 80 hours a week and all of my free time went to him. But I happen to lose to someone with more free time. It would only damage my relationship with him, not with you. Sounds like you Mr. Magooed your way into some cash, and I can't be mad about that. It's a stupid game, but he's free to do what he wants with his money. NTA for accepting the price. YTA for telling to your family about the whole stuff. It would only lead to problems and all. Edit. Removed some stuff because visibly I can't read, haha. NTA, though your granddad seems to be. From the sound of it, he is in no way neglected by his family. Adding up just you and your uncle, the two of you spent 58 hours with him. That is nearly 2 hours a day all month with just the two of you, and now he has set up a nice little spat for his loving family. I'd personally stop visiting. NTA, at your age I would have taken the money. At my age I would decline. The problem is that your grandfather was pulling a power trip and is manipulating people. I would decline the money because I don't want any part of that. In fact, I may even stop speaking with him. However, you are 21, so I don't blame you for being opportunistic, and it's not your fault if you can't identify that kind of behavior yet.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic AITA is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.